My topic was the art of what to do. Essentially, what it's about is it's how we as humans view time and the world around us and how we create our day. This topic was interesting to me because as of lately, I've been wondering how my days are going about and how I could have a good solid day. Which, funny enough, one of the speakers in the podcast mentions that um, it's not how we should be optimizing our day, but instead why we are bothering to think about our day like this. And so I think this is important because if we are in the constant mindset of trying to optimize, be efficient, then eventually we just don't get the mind capacity to be alive and truly live in the moments. And so that is why this topic was really interesting to me because the first speaker, um, psychology professor, as the other podcaster mentioned, uh, talks about how there's two types of people. There's the clock timer people, and then there's the event people. But in order to have a good day, or in order to understand time, we have to balance both. Essentially, what a clock timer person does is they understand their day based off of how they feel. And so, what this means is that, oh, I want to cook something and eat. If you're going based off a clock timer, you will just go based off how when you feel hungry. The other person is the events person. The events person has like a set schedule in which throughout their whole day they have these events, and if anything is pushed back, then everything's pushed back. For example, if you have a certain time that you have your meals, then if that meal is delayed, then anything else that comes after the meal will be delayed as well. And so the best of both worlds would be balancing both the feelings and having scheduled time. Uh, as the psychology professor was going through all these examples, she was using her tone to make the storytelling more emphasized and really put us in the the example that she was trying to tell us. For example, there was an example that was talking about how a clock timer would say, um, "Honey, you can play a little longer, then we will be leaving soon." Meanwhile, the events person would say, "Honey, 5 more minutes, then we are leaving." As you can see, one of them is based off of feel, and then the other one is based off of like set time. Essentially, they're both the same thing, but as a little kid, it would be easier to hear that, oh, you can play a little longer, but we will be leaving soon. Meanwhile, if we tell them you have 5 more minutes to play, then we're leaving, that puts a little bit of anxiety into the kid of, okay, now I have 5 minutes to do this. What should I do to optimize my time? Or should I even do anything at all and save it? And so that's where the second speaker comes in, an author slash journalist, Oliver Berkman. He's actually written a couple books which gives him his credibility of how he has studied his own life and tried to understand these concepts that he was explaining to us. I think that one of the things that he struggled on was when he was giving examples of things that he would experience in life and he would journal. Compared to the first speaker, he wasn't actually emphasizing certain words, and he would also speak very constant, as in his voice would, have the podcast voice, and eventually I found myself like tuning out a bit compared to the first speaker. But besides that, his projection was good, and he was loud and clear when he did talk about his stories. And lastly, the last speaker was actually a TED soundbite, and it was just clipped straight from it. And one of the things that she was able to do because she had an audience was actually give pauses in her speaking and allowed the audience to laugh and, soak in the information she was taking. I think that overall, when it comes to nonverbal communication, you really need to understand what your content is to allow certain pauses for depth, emphasis on certain words to give them, more deeper meaning, and lastly, speaking at a rate that allows the audience to digest the content. Because the second speaker, he had a lot of information to speak, and he kind of flew by it a lot quicker compared to the first one. So yeah, my podcast was on the art of what to do. Thank you.